Many of the world's roads are plagued by unsafe speed limits, poor designs, and worse conditions, which can also be fatal if driven recklessly on them. But few present the kind of conditions that send drivers sliding across icy lanes or plummeting thousands of miles to their death. We're not kidding. Some roads are so dangerous to drive on that they cause hundreds, if not thousands, of deaths annually, and people still go and try to drive on these roads. Drivers can encounter narrow, unpaved highways that are vulnerable to landslides, avalanches, and steep mountain terrain. These roads are often branded as the world's most dangerous, and a few even have the word death in their names. Here are the 10 most dangerous roads in the world. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Number 10. Yungas Road, the Death Road, Bolivia. The North Yungas Road in Bolivia is often cited as being the most dangerous road in the world. The disconcertingly named Death Road covers a stretch of 43 miles, connecting Coroico and La Paz, the capital city of Bolivia. At its highest elevation, the route stands at 4,650 meters, 15,256 feet, and drivers often find themselves navigating narrow gravel trails well above the cloud level. If that wasn't bad enough, it also includes over 200 vertigo-inducing hairpin turns, some with sheer drops of 1,100 meters. Buses and trucks can be regularly seen tumbling off its rather precarious edge, especially when attempting to overtake one another. The most significant incident on Yungas Road involved a bus veering into a canyon, killing 100 people, Bolivia's worst road accident on record. Up until 1994, nearly 300 travelers died every year when using the road. It's so famous that Top Gear members had to check it out, and they weren't very lucky. According to Jeremy Clarkson, quote, "Some lorries pull over, others come barreling up behind you, doing 3.5 times the speed of sound. It's completely baffling." Number 9. The KARAKORAM Highway. The KARAKORAM Highway is plagued by a terrifying ensemble of natural disasters, including landslides, avalanches, flooding, and heavy snow. Perched 4,693 meters, or 15,397 feet above sea level, the KARAKORAM Highway connects China and Pakistan over a total of 800 miles. It cuts through the most mountainous region in the world. Though it's a popular tourist destination, some have referred to it as the 8th World Wonder. The highway sees frequent fatalities. 17 people were killed when a bus tumbled into a gorge after the driver took a sharp turn along the highway. Incidents like this have occurred since the road was first built. It was started in 1959 and completed in 1979, but only after a shocking 810 Pakistani and 82 Chinese workers lost their lives in its construction. But it wasn't open to the public until 1986. Interestingly, the road passed through the Hunza Valley, the scene of James Hilton's Lost Horizon, a novel about the mythical Shangri-La, a harmonious place where people live for centuries. Number 8. Engineer Pass, USA. Colorado is home to the Rockies, a mountainous region where Engineers Pass can be found 3,901 meters, 12,800 feet above sea level. It has a high mountain pass located in the San Juan Mountains near Ouray, Colorado, in the USA. It's one of Colorado's most scenic off-road drives. It's mostly a first-gear ride because the road is rough and rocky. It's also one of the highest mountain roads in Colorado. Frequent avalanches, heavy snowfall, and landslides make dodging patches of ice along the way seem like a breeze in comparison. Tragically, just this year, a motorcyclist plunged from the scenic route and lost his life. Many of us dream of an American road trip, but this one would only be advisable if you have a narrow four-wheel drive vehicle, plus the skill and focus demanded by this dangerous route. The road is difficult, and it's a nightmare in the wet or dark, or both. Number 7. The ZOJILA Pass. Vertigo sufferers look away now. This road is not for weak-hearted people. The ZOJILA Pass, or ZOJILA Pass as it's sometimes known, can be found 3,528 meters, or 11,575 feet, up in the Himalayas. ZOJILA is a high mountain pass which is located in the Kargil district. The road connects the people of LADAKH to Kashmir Valley via a one-lane trail which hugs some of the tallest mountains in the world. The ZOJI Pass is often closed during the winter as heavy snowfall forms thick walls of ice along either side of the road. Snow is anywhere from between 15 to 24 meters deep, which takes the Border Roads Organization in the region up to 2 months to clear. In 2009, clearing efforts couldn't prevent the need to rescue 350 people stranded on the road thanks to heavy snowfall. Worse still, in 2012, 11 tourists were killed as their vehicle skidded off the barrier-less pass into a deep gorge. ZOJILA means the mountain pass of blizzards. A very interesting piece of information. During the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947-1948, ZOJILA was seized by Pakistani raiders in 1948 in their campaign to capture Ladakh. The pass was recaptured by Indian forces on the 1st of November in an assault codenamed Operation Bison, which achieved success primarily due to the surprise use of tanks, then the highest altitude at which tanks had operated in combat across the world. Terrifying yet exciting, isn't it? Number 6. KABUL-JALALABAD Road. The KABUL-JALALABAD Road, also known as National Highway 8, is a highway running between the Afghan cities of Kabul and Jalalabad. The road is prone to suicide bombings, kidnappings, and car crashes. The death toll along the Kabul-Jalalabad Road in Afghanistan is so high, locals have lost count. Although the winding 2-lane road offers barely enough room for cars to pass, drivers continue to whiz by at death-defying speeds, while heavy trucks have trouble climbing the steep incline. The road is of utmost strategic importance, facilitating trade, humanitarian aid, reconstruction efforts, and the return of Afghan refugees. However, the highway, which was a good standard asphalt road when it was completed in 1969, has deteriorated into a gravel road, making the journey long and torturous. The road is also plagued by Taliban-led suicide bombings and kidnappings, a peril that drivers have come to accept as they make their way along the major trade route. The surrounding area, including the road, is often referred to as the Valley of Death. As interesting as it sounds, it really is one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Number 5. The Gyeoliang Tunnel. You probably are ready for this terrifying road, considering what we've already looked at. China's Gyeoliang Tunnel is carved into the side of a steep mountain. It's almost like a mountain is swallowing you when you drive it. The Gyeoliang Tunnel credits its existence to 13 villagers who cut the 4,000-foot path into China's Taihang Mountains in the 1970s. The tunnel links the village of Gyeoliang to the outside through the Taihang Mountains, which are situated in Huijiang, Xinjiang, Heian Province of China. It's one of the most famous roads in the world. It's 1.2 kilometers long. Though the area has become popular among tourists, the tunnel still lacks barriers and street lamps, making it a dangerous and terrifying path, so drivers must enter at their own risk. Locals now refer to it as the road that does not tolerate mistakes. Number 4. Dalton Highway. The Dalton Highway is one of the most isolated roads in the world. If you can drive this road, you can pretty much drive anything. Drivers on the Dalton Highway are advised to bring their safety gear. There are no medical facilities along the 414-mile road, no gas stations, restaurants, or hotels for a 240-mile stretch. Most of the road is unpaved and made of gravel, making it difficult for drivers even in good weather conditions. In the winter, the road becomes so slippery and icy that even ice road truckers refuse to cross it. The surrounding tundra is also prone to avalanches. The highway runs parallel to the Trans-Alaska Pipeline System, and despite its bleak, isolated, and remote setting, It's often navigated by anything up to 150 trucks in the summer and 250 trucks in the winter. Few roads in the world offer the degree of isolation as the James W. Dalton Highway. Number 3. The Atlantic Road. Norway's Atlantic Road runs through a small group of scenic islands, but one stretch of the highway is far from idyllic. As storms begin to pick up, a curvy portion of the road is pummeled with wind and water, creating a hazard for drivers. The road was hit by a dozen windstorms during its construction in the 1980s. A curvy portion of the Atlantic Road in Norway can become flooded during a storm. The Atlantic Road is also known as the Road in the Ocean, with 7 bridges that allow the road to follow the islands in the sea like a snake. It's considered the most beautiful for some, and the most dangerous for others. And we have to go with the latter option here, as the road is terrifyingly curvy. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by one of our subscribers, so if you come across a photo online and want to know some more details about it, just send it on over to us. We might even feature it in a future video. Number 2. ESHIMA OHASHI Bridge. The ESHIMA OHASHI Bridge is a rigid-frame bridge over Nakumi Lake in Japan. It was built from 1997 to 2004. It's the largest rigid-frame bridge in Japan and the 3rd largest in the world. The Shimane side has a gradient of 6.1% and the Totori side of 5.1%. The bridge is 1.44 kilometers long with a width of 11.3 meters. The bridge has an insanely steep and terrifying slope that's tall enough to let ships pass underneath with ease. It's a stretch of road that has freaked out even the most confident drivers, as it looks like an insane roller coaster. Number 1. The Sichuan-Tibet Highway. Now for the most terrifying road in the world. With an average elevation of 4,000 meters, the Sichuan-Tibet Highway has all the makings of the world's craziest road. Landslides and rock avalanches are commonplace across the 1,330-mile route that starts in Chengdu, Sichuan, and ends in Lhasa, Tibet. A trip along the length of the highway can take up to 15 days. In 2011, a bus was reported to have veered off the highway, leading to the tragic deaths of 16 passengers. This stretch of road has a record of 7,500 deaths per 100,000 users. This high death toll is a result of the frequent number of rock slides, as well as other weather-related hazards that most drivers need to be really careful of. Well, that's our list of the 10 most dangerous roads in the world. Would you drive on any of these? Which one looks the most exciting to you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.